What's up, Broncos Country? Did you see what happened in Philadelphia? Because if you didn't, buckle up. What went down at Lincoln Financial Field wasn't just another win. It was a statement. It was the Denver Broncos looking at the entire league and saying, "We're here, and you're going to have to respect us." 21-17 over the Eagles. But this victory has layers. It has emotion. It has drama. And I'm going to tell you every detail of this epic battle that proves this orange and blue team didn't come to play around. Stick with me until the end, because what you're going to discover about this game will give you chills. Let's understand something, Denver Broncos family. When you enter Eagles territory, you're not entering just any stadium. You're entering one of the most hostile houses in the NFL. Philadelphia fans are known for being aggressive, loud, and intimidating. They eat visiting teams for breakfast. And the Broncos went there as underdogs. And I mean, nobody in the national sports media was giving Denver a real chance in this matchup. The Eagles were rolling with one of the league's best quarterbacks in Jalen Hurts, a physical and brutal offensive line, and a defense that was making other teams look like high school squads. On the other side, the Broncos had everything to prove. A young team with a rookie quarterback still finding his way, a defense that needed to show it could stop an elite offense. And you know what happened? The impossible, the improbable, the unforgettable, 21-17. But those numbers don't tell the real fight. They don't tell about the punches traded at the line of scrimmage. They don't tell about the adjustments made in the locker room. They don't tell about the heart, the grit, the absolute determination of a team that refused to be intimidated. This game wasn't perfect, far from it. The Broncos made mistakes, had moments of frustration, went through moments where it seemed like everything would fall apart. But in the fourth quarter, when games are decided, when true competitors separate from pretenders, the Denver Broncos showed their true face. Let me tell you about that fourth quarter, Broncos Country, because that's where the magic happened. First 3 quarters, inconsistent, frustrating at times, the offense struggling to find rhythm, the defense making some stops, but also giving up some plays. It was that kind of game where you're sitting on the couch thinking, are we going to pull this off? Can we do it? Then came the fourth quarter. And man, what a difference. It was like someone hit a transformation button on the entire team. The offensive line started opening holes. The receivers started getting separation. The defense started swallowing up the Eagles' offense. It was like watching a completely different team. It was like seeing evolution happen in real time before our eyes, and it wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. It was execution. It was preparation. It was a team that made the necessary adjustments, that didn't panic, that trusted the process and the game plan. The Eagles were feeling the pressure. You could see it in their eyes. They expected to dominate. They expected the Broncos to break. But instead it was Denver that dominated when it mattered most. This kind of victory, family, isn't just about the points on the scoreboard. It's about building identity. It's about creating confidence. It's about proving to yourself that you can compete with anyone, anywhere, under any circumstance. The Broncos didn't just beat the Eagles. They beat them in Philadelphia. They beat them as underdogs. They beat them despite the mistakes. That's the recipe for a team that's growing, that's evolving, that's becoming dangerous. Now, let's talk about the guy who deserves all the credit in the world for this victory. Nik Bonitto, outside linebacker wearing number 15. And man, what a performance. What absolute dominance. Bonitto didn't just play well. He put on a clinic on how to destroy an elite offensive line, Jordan Mailata. That name needs to be said with respect. He's considered one of the best offensive tackles in the entire NFL. An Australian giant who protects Jalen Hurts' blindside. It's his life's mission. Entire teams design schemes to try to neutralize Mailata because going head-to-head with him usually ends badly for the pass rusher. But Bonitto looked at that challenge and said, "Bring it on." 5 pressures, 2.5 sacks against Jordan Mailata. Let that sink in, Broncos Country. Bonitto didn't just compete in this matchup, he dominated. He consistently won as a pass rusher. He made Mailata look mortal. He made Jalen Hurts uncomfortable in the pocket the entire game. Every time Hurts looked back, there was Bonitto collapsing the edge, exploding through blocks, hunting with an intensity that made the ground shake. His game grade, 84.2. Defensive MVP without question. And look, I'll be honest with you, Benito has his limitations. Run defense isn't his strong suit. When teams try to run on his side, sometimes they get some success. But you know what? You can live with that. You can absolutely live with a guy who isn't perfect against the run when he can make the kind of devastating impact that Benito makes in the passing game. In modern football, the passing game is everything. It's where games are won and lost. It's where playmakers make their magic. And if you have a guy who can consistently put pressure on the opposing quarterback, who can force quick decisions, who can create havoc in the backfield, you have gold in your hands. Benito is that guy for the Broncos. What Benito did against the Eagles wasn't luck. It wasn't an isolated game where everything went right. It was the culmination of technique, physical preparation, film study, and pure will to win. Mailata is a veteran tackle with years of experience against the league's best pass rushers. He's seen everything, but Benito brought a combination of speed, power, and moves that left Mailata confused the entire game. And you know what that means for the future? It means the Broncos have a legitimate weapon on the edge of the defense. It means other teams are going to have to dedicate extra resources to try to stop Benito, which opens up opportunities for the rest of the defensive line. It means when games get tight, when you need a crucial defensive play, you have a guy who can create that play out of nothing. Benito showed against the Eagles that he belongs in the conversation of the league's best young pass rushers. He showed he can perform against elite competition. He showed he has the heart of a competitor who fears no one. And for Broncos Country, that's cause for celebration and anticipation for what's to come. Hey, if you're enjoying this complete analysis of the Broncos' most important win of the season, then you need to subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that red button, turn on notifications, because every week I bring the best content about the Denver Broncos. Deep analysis, behind the scenes, everything the family needs to know. Don't miss out, Broncos Country. Now let's talk about the offense. And there's no way to start this conversation without talking about number 14, Courtland Sutton. The Broncos' veteran receiver faced one of the season's biggest challenges, and he responded exactly how a leader should respond. Quinyon Mitchell. That name might not be familiar to all of you, but trust me, it should be. The Eagles' rookie cornerback had been making other receivers look like amateurs in the first 4 weeks of the season. Mitchell was playing at such a high level that analysts were already talking about Defensive Rookie of the Year. He had sticky coverage, impressive instincts, and made plays on the ball that gave quarterbacks nightmares. And guess who Sutton spent most of the game covered by? Exactly, Mitchell. One of the hottest corners in the league, glued to the Broncos' best receiver. This was the kind of matchup that defines games. If Sutton couldn't produce against Mitchell, the Broncos' offense would be in serious trouble. 5 receptions on 7 targets, 77 yards. And here's the detail that matters, family. All 5 receptions resulted in first downs. Every single one. When Bo Nix needed a play, when the offense needed to keep drives alive, when momentum was on the line. It was Sutton who got the ball, and Sutton who delivered. His game grade, 78.3. Offensive MVP without a shadow of doubt. Sutton didn't just win his matchups against Mitchell, he did it consistently over 60 minutes. Was there a drop? Yes. Was there a pass that Mitchell almost intercepted? Yes, but that's part of the game. What matters is that when the ball was in the air, more often than not, it was Sutton who caught it. What makes Sutton's performance even more impressive is the context. Sutton isn't that young receiver with everything to prove anymore. He's an 8-year veteran in the league. He's seen it all. But he still plays with that hunger, that intensity of someone fighting for their first contract. He still competes on every route like his career depends on it. And that mentality, that refusal to accept anything less than excellence, is what makes him special. Against Mitchell, Sutton used all his experience. He varied his routes. He used his body intelligently to create separation. He showed reliable hands in critical moments. And perhaps most importantly, he showed Bo Nix that he's a trustworthy target when the game is on the line. For a young quarterback like Bo Nix, having a receiver like Sutton is invaluable. It's having someone you know will be where they're supposed to be. It's having someone who will fight for the ball in 50-50 situations. It's having someone who, when you're on third down and need 10 yards, you can trust to make the necessary play. Sutton showed against the Eagles that he's still that guy. He showed that even against elite coverage, he can be productive. He showed that in his 30s, he still has a lot of high-level football to offer. And for the Broncos, that's absolutely crucial for any hope of success this season. The victory over the Eagles had many heroes, but without Sutton doing what he did against Mitchell, without him winning those critical individual matchups, without him moving the chains when it mattered most, the Broncos probably come home with a loss. Instead, they have a monumental victory, and Sutton is a big reason for that. And now, we need to talk about the quarterback, Bo Nix, the Broncos rookie, who's learning what it means to play in the NFL at the hardest possible level. And look, I'm going to be completely honest with you, Broncos Country, because you deserve honesty. Bo Nix wasn't perfect against the Eagles. Far from it. But he showed something that might be more important than perfection. He showed growth. He showed resilience. He showed the ability to bounce back from mistakes. His game grade was 64.2. Not spectacular. Not the kind of number that makes you jump off the couch celebrating. But it tells an important part of the developmental journey of a rookie quarterback. The first 3 quarters were tough for Bo. He was trying to do too much. He was being overly aggressive on third downs when the Eagles' defense was giving him opportunities to just take what was available and move the chains. He was forcing some balls. He was showing that typical young player impatience. But then came the fourth quarter. And family, it was like watching a completely different quarterback. Bo Nix in the fourth quarter was exceptional. He made smart decisions. He made quick and accurate reads. He delivered the ball to the right places. He led the offense like a veteran. It was the kind of performance that makes you believe that, yes, this kid can be the guy. The footwork was cleaner after 3 difficult weeks where his footwork was inconsistent, where he was moving awkwardly in the pocket. Bo showed visible improvement. His feet were more coordinated. His base was more solid. And as a result, his throwing accuracy improved. The balls were going where they should go with much more consistency. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Bo Nix is a rookie quarterback facing NFL defenses. He's going to have tough games. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to have moments of frustration where you want to pull your hair out. That's part of the process. Every great quarterback in the league went through this. Peyton Manning threw 17 interceptions in his rookie year. Troy Aikman had a horrible rookie year. That's how it works. What matters isn't whether Bo will make mistakes. He will. What matters is how he responds to those mistakes. And against the Eagles, we saw a response that should leave Broncos Country hopeful. Bo didn't let the difficult first 3 quarters destroy his confidence. He didn't let the mistakes pile up mentally. He found a way to bounce back, to make the necessary adjustments, and to play his best football when the team needed him most. There's also something to be said about the context Bo is playing in. He doesn't have an elite cast of offensive weapons around him. He doesn't have an offensive line that gives him all the time in the world. He's having to learn while playing, without the safety net of being able to sit and watch for a year. He was thrown straight into the fire, and he's having to figure things out in real time against some of the best defenses in the world. And you know what? He's surviving. More than that, he's showing flashes of what he can become. The fourth quarter against the Eagles was one of those flashes. It was a glimpse of the future. It was a sample of what Bo Nix can be when everything comes together. The challenge now for Bo and the Broncos coaching staff is to take that fourth quarter version of Bo Nix and extract it for a full 60 minutes of football. How he was playing in that fourth quarter needs to become the standard, not the exception. The smart decision-making, the clean footwork, the throwing accuracy, the confident leadership. All of that needs to be the Bo Nix who shows up on the first snap of the game, not just at the end. But here's the thing. He showed he's capable. Against a quality Eagles defense in hostile territory with the game on the line, Bo Nix delivered. That counts. That matters. That builds the foundation upon which franchise quarterbacks are built. Bo Nix isn't going to be perfect this season. There will be more tough games, there will be more painful learning moments, but if he continues showing the ability to grow, to adapt, to respond to adversity the way he did against the Eagles, then the Broncos have something special on their hands. They have a quarterback who can be the answer this franchise has been looking for years. Now, family, not everything was roses in this victory, and we need to talk about some of the struggles the Broncos faced, especially on the offensive line. Because if this team is going to continue growing, if they're going to continue winning games, some things need to improve. Quinn Meinerz, the right guard, had a tough game, grade of 46.8. That's not good, Broncos Country. That's not even close to acceptable for a player who has the talent and ability that Meinerz has. The first 5 weeks haven't been good for him. He's struggling, especially in pass protection, which is concerning because pass protection is absolutely critical for Bo Nix's development. A rookie quarterback needs time. He needs a clean pocket where he can make his reads, where he can deliver the ball with confidence. When the offensive line is breaking down, when there's constant pressure coming from the inside, it becomes impossible for any quarterback to operate effectively, let alone a rookie still learning the NFL game. Meinerz needs to get back to form. He needs to rediscover that physical dominance that made him one of the league's most promising guards. And he needs to do it quickly because the next game brings an even tougher matchup. There's no time to fall behind. There's no time to feel sorry for yourself. It's time to get your head right and work. Mike McGlinchey, the right tackle, also struggled. Grade of 49.7. McGlinchey got hurt during the game and missed some snaps, which didn't help, but even when he was on the field, he was struggling. And that's particularly frustrating because, on paper, this should have been a favorable matchup for him. McGlinchey is normally an excellent run blocker, but through the first 5 weeks, and especially against the Eagles, he hasn't been at that level. When 2/5 of your offensive line are struggling, you have a serious problem. Football is won and lost in the trenches. It's an old truth, but eternally valid. If you can't control the line of scrimmage, if you can't give your quarterback time to throw, if you can't open holes for your running backs, you're going to struggle to win games consistently. The good news is that Garrett Ballas continues playing at an elite level on the left side. Grade of 68.5, and he's considered one of the top 3 tackles in the NFL so far this season. There was a sequence in the game where he committed a penalty and allowed pressure, the kind of sequence that in previous years would have completely derailed Ballas mentally and led to more mistakes. But he bounced back. He maintained his composure. He continued playing at a high level. That shows growth. That shows maturity. Ben Powers at left guard has also been solid, the Broncos' second-best offensive lineman, grade of 63.4 against the Eagles, and he did that playing all 74 snaps despite hurting his bicep during the game. That's toughness. That's competitiveness. That's the kind of warrior attitude you need. But 2 out of 5 isn't enough. The offensive line needs to be a consistent force of 5 men working in sync. Every man needs to do his job. Every man needs to win his individual battles. And when 2 of those 5 men are consistently losing those battles, it puts enormous pressure on the rest of the team. And there you have it, Broncos Country, the complete victory over the Philadelphia Eagles, 21-17, but so much more than that. It was a statement. It was a coming-out moment. It was the Denver Broncos telling the rest of the NFL that they're a real force, a team that can compete with anyone, anywhere. Nick Bonito destroying one of the league's best tackles, Courtland Sutton dominating a sensation rookie cornerback, Bo Nix showing resilience and growth when it mattered most, a defense that suffocated the Eagles' offense at the crucial moment, and a team that, despite mistakes, despite imperfections, found a way to win on the road against a quality opponent. But the journey is just beginning, family. This victory is sweet. This victory is significant, but it's just one game in a 17-game season. The Broncos need to build on this. They need to take the momentum from this victory and carry it forward. They need to correct the weaknesses, strengthen the deficiencies, and continue growing as a team. Quinn Miners needs to bounce back. Mike McGlinchey needs to return to form. Bo Nix needs to take that magical fourth quarter and turn it into 60 minutes of consistent execution. The defense needs to keep making critical plays. The offense needs to find more consistency. There's work to be done, but for today, a hard-fought victory. We appreciate the fact that our team went to Philadelphia as underdogs and came out as winners. We recognize the Warriors who wore the orange and blue and left everything on the field. And now I want to hear from you, Denver Broncos family. What did you think of this epic victory? Which player impressed you most? Are you confident in Bo Nix's development? Do you believe this team can make noise in the playoffs? Drop it all here in the comments. I read them all and respond as much as I can. If you enjoyed this deep and detailed analysis, drop that like. It helps the channel grow tremendously and bring more quality content about the Denver Broncos. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that red button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any analysis, any news, any important moment of the Broncos season. Share this video with that friend from Broncos Country who needs to see this analysis. Spread it on social media. Let's make the Denver Broncos name echo everywhere. What's up, Broncos Country? What a season. What a victory. And this is just the beginning. Until the next video, family, let's go together. Orange and blue forever.